Okay, in this video, I'm going to go over how you can teach your dog to focus on you. This is a technique that I use for dogs that are often reactive, whether it's aggressive, territorial, insecure, alerting to various things. Now, I'm going to use, because I did the session with you guys virtually, I'm going to be using my dog Quest here, who's going to come in the shot here in a minute, and I'm going to demonstrate the focus exercise. Now, I already went over the focus exercise with you guys during the virtual session, so this is going to be a quick cleanup. Now, when I'm doing this, a couple things. When you're doing this, you want to do, I usually like to have about 12 treats each time we practice. So I'm a righty as well, so I'm going to keep most of the treats in my left hand, except for one in my right hand. So I'm going to back up a little bit so you guys can see me. Hopefully the camera will continue tracking. Kind of cool new technology I'm using. So I want the dog to be sitting. I'd like to have you sitting as well. Where's my little stool? Let me pull my little stool over here. I'm really liking this. This is the first time I've shot a video by myself with this camera that can track for me, which is pretty cool. So you want to be sitting with your knees about shoulder width apart. You want the dog sitting here in between your knees looking at you. I have one treat on my left hand, in my right hand. The rest of the treats in my left hand. Right, left. And I'm going to put them on my knees. Now Quest already knows how to do this, but most dogs are going to do what your dogs are doing today, is go and lick your hand and nudge your hand and paw your hand. Don't move your hand, just wait for the dog to look up at you. As soon as the dog looks at you, go straight to your nose and to its mouth and say the word focus. Now, if you notice when I do it, I'm not twisting my wrist, and I'm going to twist my wrist to show you what you don't want to do, because this is a mistake a lot of people do. So the dog looks up and they go like this. See where he's now looking down. The idea for this is you want the dog to be looking at you in the face the entire time you're doing the exercise. So at first, it's going to be 1 second for each movement. I'll show you. 1 second, focus. And then I immediately reload so the dog knows we're still playing the game. Focus. Now, when I'm doing this, I don't have to worry about him because he knows how to do this. When you're doing this, make sure you are watching your dog's eyes like a hawk. If it looks up at you, even if it's just an eye dart without raising the whole head, and you miss it, it might take you several minutes to get to that dog to look up at you again. Don't do this when there's crazy things going on. There's no construction in the backyard, no people walking by the house. If the other dog's barking, don't do it at that point. Exercising your dog a little bit before you do this exercise probably would be helpful as well. Now, when you're doing this, you're going to be tempted to say the dog's name to get it to look up at you. This is a form of operant conditioning, which you're familiar with. So the only thing the dog can do to get the treat is to look at us in the face. A lot of trainers will teach you this by holding the treat up here, and that lures the dog to look at you. The problem with that is if a dog looks at you voluntarily in your eyes for longer than 11 seconds sustained, it starts releasing oxytocin, serotonin, and prolactin into their brain, the pleasure endorphins. The dog's body cannot produce cortisol, the stress hormone, at the same time it's producing these. But if you lure the dog to look up here, you don't get that same benefit. So that's why we do it by holding the treats down here. The dog has to look up, focus. All right, so what you want to do is for all 12 treats, 1 second, whoops, you can go get that one, buddy. Go ahead, release. 1 second up, 1 second to get him, and then he gets the treat. You do this in different parts of your house and do it with each dog separately. You want to get to the point now, so the first time it's 1 second, 1 second. And when the dog is pretty much just staring at you the whole time, then the next time you do it, you go 1 second, 2 seconds for the second movement. The movement from your nose to the dog's mouth. The movement from your knee up is always only 1 second. Eventually, you want it to look like this. 1 second, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Focus. Remember to say focus after the treat goes in his mouth each time. So this is the first stage. Within 7 days, both dogs need to be able to give you a 15-second focus for all 12 treats. And keep their eye on you, on your face the whole time. So it'll take you a little bit of time to practice going slowly from your house, from your nose to your hand, nose to the dog's mouth. When you raise it, don't hold it at your nose, just go boom, boom, focus. Okay, that's the first stage. The second stage is I want you to practice this outside in your backyard. Now, you do this outside in your backyard, you do it with, again, no neighbor dogs outside, no construction, nothing crazy going on. You want to make it the easiest version possible. But they're distractions, so it makes them inherently more difficult. So now we go 1 second, 1 second. We go back to the 1 second, 1 second. Even though you had 15 seconds inside, you didn't have the distractions. So now we go back to work our way up to the point where we can get 15 seconds outside your backyard. However, you can move a little bit faster at this point. Maybe you go 1 second for 3 treats, 1 second, 2 seconds for 3 treats, 1 second, 3 seconds for 3 treats, 1 second, 4 seconds for 3 treats. Up to your nose, always 1 second. The duration's from your nose to the dog's mouth. You want to get to the point where you're at 15-second focus. maximum of 2 or 3 days. Dogs get bored with this exercise, so make sure you're really practicing. Each one of you, I like to see you practicing about 3 or 4 times a day with each dog. Use the Tricky Trainer chicken liver treats that you just got in the mail from Amazon that I mentioned to you. Okay, the last stage is you're actually going to start doing this on a walk. Now, if your dog is too distracted on a walk outside, walk him in your backyard. You have all that stuff in your backyard, so walking there around your equipment, it's an easier environment. Now, at this stage, we're going to do something different. Now, instead of holding the treat down on our knees, we can't do that while we're walking. So now we're going to actually start verbally cueing. So we're going to be walking, and then you're going to say, focus, focus, just like he did. He's going to now, at this point, they should understand recognize the command word focus. So now you're walking. While you're walking, you're going to tell the dog to focus. And if the dog's walking here, you go boom, boom. 1 second up to your nose and 1 second to their mouth. And do it for all 12 treats. Remember, there's no squirrels, there's nothing around that's a distraction. We want to make it easy as possible for the dog to develop this skill set. So once you get to the point within a couple of days on a walk, at first in your backyard and then out on a walk in your neighborhood, you can say focus, the dog looks up at you and is running into stuff because instead of looking where they're going, they're looking up at you. Now, instead of having the dog's focus work against us where it's focused on the other dog, now we've created a command word to get the dog to look at us in the face. Now let's talk about how we can use this to actually teach the dog to not be reactive like, I would say Brighton, but it's not Brighton. It'll come back to me. So basically, Brixton, what you're going to do for Brixton is you want to find an area where you have what I call a triangular shape of field of vision. So you can imagine that I can see from here to here, everything between my hands. So this triangle shape right here that I'm showing you is what I can see. Over here, there's either a building or shrubs or trees or something that blocks that. And over here, there's building, tree, or shrubs that blocks my vision here. So I can only see in between my hands. So this is why I like to do this in Venice Beach a lot, because I can go down one of the alleys and the alley kind of creates, it's like this. There's only a little window when you have people walking by. So what I've done is first I teach the dog the focus exercise that I just showed you. Now what I do is I would go to one of these areas where I have this triangular field of movement. Camera's getting a little bit screwy, evidently I'm too far away. Let's try that again. I'm right here. Stop. Having difficulty shooting. Yes. Let's get you to go up. How about that? Well, it doesn't want to cooperate, so we'll manually move it. Let's see if I can draw the box around my face again. There we go. All right. So now what we want to do, if we can get the camera to work properly, is, oh yes, and now it's going all over the place. I pushed my luck. All right, so let me see if I can get this up going the way that I want, and I'll describe the rest of it. Okay, so now the next stage is what you want to do is you're going to go to this where you have this triangular field of vision. And what you're going to do is, and this is a place where a lot of dogs are going to be walking by. And so what you're going to do is you're going to wait with your dogs. Let's say your dog's sitting right here. Let me move back a little bit, see if I can get this to do it without freaking out. So let's say the dog is right here, Brighton's right here, and Brixton, excuse me. And you're looking over here. You see a dog is about to clear the shrubberies or whatever it is, or you can have somebody over there that has like an earwick in and tells you, okay, dog's about to appear. So what we want to do is we want to get Brixton as close to this as we possibly can without him reacting. By reacting, obviously no barking or lunging or growling, but also no intense staring. So my two tests are, can I get the dog to sit and take a treat while the stimulus is nearby? So you want to keep on getting closer and closer until the dog will stay seated and take the treat without any, pretty easily. So, and this is going to vary based on the dog. If you have a dog that walks by in a nice perfect heel with somebody, your dog probably get a lot closer. If you have a dog that's all crazy and spazzy and barking, you might have to take a couple steps backwards. So the idea is you find the distance, the closest that you can get, and then basically the dog is sitting next to you, and you're watching here. As soon as the dog's about to come into vision, it's walking in this direction. Remember, you have a triangle shape of movement, or field of vision. So as soon as the dog appears, you immediately turn your attention down to your dog. You give your dog about 2 to 3 seconds to look up at you. It's not going to. Brixton's going to stare at the other dog. Well, after about 1 to 2 seconds, you say the word focus. Hopefully, at this point, the dog has a strong lure, looks up, and then you go like this and spend 15 seconds going down. That's why we want to achieve the 15 seconds. The idea is, while we're doing this, the dog is clearing the path. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to teach the dog, when it sees another dog, what we want it to do is turn and look at me rather than staring at the other dog, which we talked about on the phone to the FaceTime, is going to get the dog in trouble. Dogs should experience with their nose, not from their eyes. So the idea is you're going to keep on doing this, and at first, the first several, and it might be a whole bunch of them, where you have to give the dog the verbal. So you always give the dog 1 or 2 seconds of looking at it before you say it on its own. But if you do it within 1 or 2 seconds each time you say focus, it looks up at you, you go boom. And if it won't look up at you, take a couple steps back, you're too close to it. Once you get to the point where eventually you just say focus, the dog just, or excuse me, you don't say focus, you're watching. The dog comes in appearance, you look down at your dog, and after 1 second, he looks up at you automatically. He is now turned away from the other dog voluntarily. This is, again, a form of operant conditioning. As soon as that happens, I do what I call a jackpot. Well, it's called a jackpot. So you're going to do multiple treats in a row. So focus, 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 like 5 treats. Remember, Brighton go, like, what the hell did I just do? I just got the mother load of treats. Exactly. So then you wait for the next dog to come. And you could be getting dogs going this direction and going this direction. The idea is just you have that triangle field of vision. And the dog should only appear for about 15 or 20 seconds as they're walking from one field to the next. That way you can, by the time the dog gets done focusing on you and it looks at the dog is gone. So this is what's called a cutoff signal. Dogs often learn, I saw your dogs doing this during the session, when one of them didn't like what the other one was doing, they would turn their head or turn away from you. It's called avoidance. It's also called a cutoff signal. So if your dog doesn't like the other dog and it turns its head away, and then when it looks back, the other dog has appeared to disappear, well, hey, that's a pretty powerful way of managing the environment. So if I don't like a dog, I just look away, look at my human, and when I look back, the dog's gone. Yeah, and as a side bonus, the dog is getting this positive reinforcement in terms of this treat. But the whole point of this, it has to work. You have to go very quickly in the house, within 7 days, 15 seconds, anywhere in the house. So you practice 3 times each a day is the minimum. With the coronavirus, you have more time. Maybe practice a little bit more. And then eventually do it out in your backyard till you get that 15-second focus within 1 or 2 or 3 days max. Then you do it on walks with no dogs around. And then that's when you can find this triangular shape field of vision, a park path. Somewhere we can be far enough away. Now, ideally, again, I like to set it up so it's a triangle shape of vision. I didn't want it a park where the park was just too big. So what I did is I got in between my car and another car, and I was in the gap between, and we just backed up away from the car's hood so the dog can only see this little gap. And then I had my one of my assistants over here, they would cough twice every time a dog was about to come into vision. So I'd be watching as soon as looking at the dog, and eventually you'll start getting that auto watch or auto look, and auto focus is what I like to call it. And so you want to keep on practicing at whatever this distance is. Let's say we're at 50 yards away from the path, until pretty much every time a dog appears, your dog's now looking up at you. Now we're ready to take the next movement. The next movement is to take 1 step closer. And let me adjust a little bit. Oh, just a different direction. So now we just take 1 step closer, and we keep on practicing until the dog is automatically looking away from the other dog when they appear and looking up at you. And then you're getting that 15-second focus. You keep on doing this, and this is going to probably take several practice sessions. This isn't going to happen overnight. But eventually you get to the point where you can be pretty close to the path, and every time that Brighton sees another dog, just looks up at you automatically. Sorry, I keep on getting his name wrong. Been a long day. So this is a technique that works really, really well. It does take a lot of practice, but if you spend the time and you develop a strong focus, instead of the dog focusing on everything but you, now the dog learns to focus on you. I also use this command at different periods of time. If my dog's not paying attention, I say, Quest, sit. He won't sit. I say, focus. He snaps his head up and looks up at me. It means I'm about to get a treat. Every once in a while, you have to do some maintenance. So inside the house, do a couple of 15-second focuses. Now, if the dog is lunging or coming up for the treat, you push too far too fast. The dog should sit there passively as that treat is taking 15 seconds to go. And when it's coming from your nose to the dog's mouth, make sure it's a straight line. A lot of people go like this, and they turn their wrist, and then the dog is looking down. So the whole time, you should be able to see the dog's eyes and the treat the whole time it's coming towards you. All right, well, this is, normally I'd say this is Barrington and Brighton, and these are some tips and tricks you can use to teach dogs to focus. I don't have them here, so I'm just going to do it myself. But practice this, let me know if you have any questions, and look for that area where you can practice that triangular shaped field of vision. The focus will get you out of it.